Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, guys. I hope you're having a great day today. Got an interesting stream for you today. An interesting stream for you. We're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be building a board that I've been chasing for quite some time now. This was owned by a friend of mine. It took me a really long day to, really long time to buy it off him, but he succumbed and sold it to me a few weeks ago. So we're going to be building that board shortly. Also, I've modified all of the battery and everything else, the connectors and everything else for the Bluetooth. I do need to do a little bit more. On here, there's a split in the heat shrink, so I need to redo that. So I have some heat shrink just here, so we can do that on stream. And then we can test out Bluetooth in the SCOG. So we're going to do a few things today, and it's going to be kind of interesting and kind of fun. Anarchy is here, and he got first today. So Anarchy, thank you very much for getting first. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Treeleaf gets second, but thank you, Treeleaf, for being here. Mr. Petrov, he says he's first. Sadly, Mr. Petrov, you came third. You came third today. So take that as a compliment. Moon Cookie says hi. Granka is here as well. Good evening, good sir. Good to see you. Mooza writes and says hey Jay and chat.
Very nice.
And ooh, very nice. That is incredibly nice. Skewed has just subscribed for 22 months. For 22 months. So thank you very much for that, dude. Really appreciate that. Mr. Petrov says, you've taken it too far, Tree. This is for our relationships. We're done. Well, sorry you feel that way, Mr. Petrov, but Treeleaf, I hope you can accept how Mr. Petrov feels. Acidic Pure is here as well. Darth Breaker is here too. We've also got Jay Saints here. Jay Saints, I have something for you. It arrived. I did find it, and I apologize I haven't messaged you yet, but I'll ship it out to you tomorrow, so don't worry, that's on its way for you. I need your playlist, please, Pepperhands. So Darth Breaker, this playlist is actually the Beats to Stream to playlist by Twitch themselves. So we use a bit of software called Soundtrack by Twitch, and that allows you to play royalty-free music that Twitch own the rights to, so you don't get any DMCA strikes against you, and that's what's playing right now. So you can quite easily pick that up yourself. It's just Beats to Stream to on a Soundtrack by Twitch. I think you have to have a certain version of Streamlabs or OBS installed to be able to play it, but other than that, that's where it is. Top Clack OST when we have our music. You heard the music, the startup music during the logo playing. That is our OST. I can play that on repeat if you'd like. Maybe not. It's nice and rainy today over here. It's been hella rainy today, but it's been one of those nice rainy days where, and guys, let's just chill down for a second. One of those nice rainy days where you curl up on the couch with the dog, the wife, the cat, whatever. You get a little blanket over you. You put the TV on something you're really interested in, and then you sit there with a hot drink. And that's what today has been for me up until about 6 p.m. when I came up to the warehouse to start work on putting everything together to stream. If you guys have seen my Insta stories, you'll see I've been hard at work for the past hour or so, just making things ready for the stream today. Gotta have coffee. Unicorn says, Unicane? Where did that go? Unicorn says, aren't your streams always fun? I like to think so. I hope you guys think so as well. I hope that's why you guys keep coming back each week. Joe from Crafted Cable says, hey, what's up, guys? I hope everyone has had a good weekend. I've had a good weekend. Bit of a boring Formula 1 race today, I won't lie. But other than that, it's been a good weekend. Plenty of pizza earlier on today, so feeling good and ready for the stream. Jonathan is here as well. He's saying hey to Vogon, which means Vogon's here as well. I missed Vogon. Vogon, good evening, good sir. Jonathan says, I've been eyeing them, but I don't know. Looking to buy a clipper at least. Clippers are good, man. I've got 2 clippers and 2 Fiels, so that tells you how good they are. A rainy day, your stream music, I need a cup of coffee. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, man, because we have got a good stream today. A good stream. Dexy's here as well, says, I've got ultramarine stabs, wanted to match them up to aquasilence. Stabs are more green than blue. Yeah, ultramarine, marine, green, yeah, that's the thing. Ultramarine are more green than blue, but they do match the switches very well. So if you get the ultramarine switches and the ultramarine stabilizers, they match pretty well. Just a few things before we get started as well, guys. If you have caught up on my Insta stories today, you will see that I have mounted the camera that's above, that you can see on this little screen here, above the desk. So it's now mounted to the ceiling and everything else. It's on an arm. It's looking good. It's looking great. The only issue I have this week is that I bought all of the gear ready to have 2 DSLRs ready for the stream, one for the face cam and one for the overhead shots, but we're using a Brio today because the new camera hasn't arrived. So I have the Camlink 4K, I have the small rig cage that goes around the camera, I have adapters and clips and you name it, I have it, but I don't have the second camera yet. So we are back to using the Brio today. Hopefully this will be the last time we have this kind of poor shot, and you'll probably see it improve in the next week's stream. Fingers crossed if the camera turns up. But then we'll have 2 DSLRs, Sony Alpha A6400s. The one above doesn't have any zoom in yet because I need to do a software solution for that. It's just out of reach now for me to do it manually, so I need to find a software solution for it. But it is much better having it permanently fixed to the ceiling. So there we go. In fact, I can briefly show you guys. It's there, permanently mounted to the ceiling. So there we go. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's feeling good. And it definitely means I'm going to be able to do a bit more when it comes to streaming. So hopefully that's good, and hopefully you guys are interested in that. And then the last thing to do will be to put some soundboards just behind the monitor here, which will happen probably a week or so afterwards. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Chat's gone really, really quiet now. That makes me nervous. When chat goes that quiet, it gets me really, really nervous. You dare mount a camera to one of those tiles? Mad lad. So, Alpiece, what I've actually done, again, I covered this on Insta, but on the actual tile, the camera isn't actually mounted to the tile, it's mounted through the tile to 2 wooden slats that run the full length of the tile. So I've attached, using some wood glue, 2 wooden slats all across the width of the tile. They run from one corner to the other, all the way across. Then the bracket screws through the tile and then into the wood on the far side. So it spreads the weight out and everything else. It's all nice and neat and tidy. It's not going to get damaged. You can't see it from this side. I can replace the tile really easily when it comes to moving out of this warehouse if that happens in the near future. It should hold up to about 5 kilograms the way it's done before it would actually snap the tile in half. So yeah, for a camera that weighs 2 or 3 pounds, it's looking good. Okay. Jonathan says, I'm checking the Norwegian store for Mechanisk. A lot of stuff in stock. The thing is, they only ship in NO at the minute. I think if you're on the Norwegian store, it will only ship to Norway. If you're on the worldwide store, it will ship worldwide. So it depends on where you are, Jonathan. But yeah, I think the switches are due in stock any time now, I think. I don't know if they're in stock as yet today. Leandra was kind enough to send both myself and Brian a pack of these a couple of weeks ago, and I've thoroughly enjoyed using them in my Iron 180 prototype. So they are out there. They are out there. I think you can order on the just mechanist.com. I think you can order on there. If I do that, there you go, mechanist.co. I think if you do it on that site, everything should be available if it's in stock. So the switches aren't in stock yet, so that's the trick. Okay, they'll be in stock soon, but they're pretty good switches. They're pretty good switches. Yeah, lots is sold out. That's just the way of the hobby, I'm afraid, my dude. Things are nearly always sold out, unfortunately. But keep your eye on the ball, and they will appear. I'm pretty sure that Leandrin mentioned in his Discord that they were going to be up pretty soon. Let's see if I can find that for you. Okay. Mechanisk Ultramarine switches on December the 18th, 2020. They will be in stock on December the 18th. December the 18th. That's when they will be in stock. So 5 days from now, so Friday coming, they will be in stock. I think that's a Friday. It's the 13th today. That makes 18th Friday. Yeah, Friday the 18th, they will be in stock. So take a look back in about a week. Okay, Mr. Petrov is there. He says, Top Clack, how big is your tip? It depends on how much you tip me, dude. You can tip. There is a donate function for you to send us a tip, Mr. Petrov. I will show that on stream for you right now. Oh, wait, that command didn't work. That command didn't work. Why didn't it work? Anyway, it's up there from Nightbot. Nightbot will post it up in a bit. But there is a way you can give us a tip if you would like to give me a tip. And how big that tip is depends on how much you give me, Mr. Petrov. So there you go. Singapore is here as well. He says, hello, Jay. Hey, man. Good to see you. Glad to have you on the stream today. So to recap, stream setup is pretty much done. One more camera to come, and then we'll have the new stream setup already. Today we're going to do a couple of things. We are going to fix the Bluetooth and the wiring ready for the SCOG, and we'll take a look at that towards the end of the stream. The first thing I need to do is put a little bit more heat shrink around the soldered connections that I've done on my battery to JST connector. You can see here it's just split at this end, so I just need to add a little bit more a little bit more heat shrink just at that end, and then we'll fix that, and we'll be able to use it on the SCOG. And then the other thing we're going to do today is build an LZST, but in polycarbonate. As far as I know, there's only 2 of these that exist. That could have changed in the meantime, but as far as I recall, there's only 2 of these that exist. So I'm really, really lucky to have one of these as a personal build. So really happy to share that with you. So let's flip over to the camera, and you'll see the new setup. Let me know what you think. Let me know if it's off. Let me know if it's askew. Let me know if it's not quite there, and I can fix it after the stream. Let's flick over to the other camera now. So there we go, guys. This is the other camera view. It's permanently affixed to the ceiling now. So there we go. Jay needing machines to get his tip showing somehow. I thought it was a donate command. I thought that's what it was. Let me have a look what it actually is. Oh, so even better. It's just that. It is just tips. So there you go, Mr. Petrov. There's how you can give me a sizable tip if you wish to do so. I love that word. I apologize. No one needs to tip. You don't have to tip at all. Please don't tip. But yeah, the option's there if you want to do it. It was a good way of diffusing Mr. Petrov's off-the-cuff joke, though. So there we go. But here we go. This is the new streaming setup. This is what it's going to look like from the camera down perspective going forwards. So hopefully this is okay for you guys, and it gives you a good view. Man, coffee is my lifeblood. Okay, so as I said, we are going to be building a LZST. So let's show you the plate and PCB first. So we have a clear polycarbonate. I appreciate this isn't showing up very well on stream, but we have a clear polycarbonate plate that does exist. It is there, I promise you. This is really hard to see on the overhead camera because of the desk mat, but I promise you it's there. Nothing quite shows it up very well, but it's there. It's a full plate. If I do that, you can see it in the main camera, the face cam. It's a full plate, but it is polycarbonate, so it's incredibly flexible. It does offer. Oh gosh, this is really bad. I didn't check this on the stream. There you go. You can see it a little bit better there. It does offer ANSI or ISO. So we're going to be building it with ISO today, not ANSI. We built ANSI last week on the SCOG. We're going to be building it ISO. We're going to be building it with split left shift. We're going to be building it with full right shift, full backspace, and a 6.25U spacebar. That's the plan for today. It kind of feels like it is an invisible plate. It just, like, you guys can barely see it there, but it's got some insane flex on it. If you look at the face cam, you can kind of see it's got some insane flex on it. There we go. I promise you, the plate does exist. So that's the plate and PCB assembly. The PCB is actually from Clueboard. So this is designed by Scully, who runs Clueboard in the US. So there you go. You can see that there. So this is actually a Clueboard PCB. So we'll be able to use a Clueboard software. The big trick for this one actually is that it is not USB-C. It's the first mini USB board I've built in months and months and months. So I actually had to go and dig out a cable that would support it, which we've done. So we can test it and use it. Okay. Then we have the top case. So this is just a nice piece of polycarbonate. This is a few years old now, but it's got some nice edgy chamfers that run along here. Again, this is going to be really hard to show you guys, but it's got some really nice chamfers on this. It's just a really lovely piece of solid polycarbonate. Nice chunky bezels, 66 key layout, as you can see. It's going to be good. Looking forward to building this already. And then we have the base. with the stainless steel weight. And there you go. There's the camera. So this is the LZST base. That weight's slightly loose. We need to tighten that screw up. There we go. So there we go. That is the LZST base. This lovely smooth polycarb. Like, whilst this is a frosted polycarbonate, it's so smooth to touch. Like, it's unbelievably smooth to touch. So I'm really excited for this. And there is a little bit of a story behind this board. This was the very first polycarbonate board I ever saw in real life. And I saw this at a meetup, I think it was in 2017. And this was the first time I'd ever seen a polycarbonate board in real life. I hadn't seen one before that. It was right at the start of the whole polycarbonate craze, January 2017. And a guy called Future Crime, who's from the UK Discord, had this in his collection. And I coveted this board for a long time, both in the way it looks, a floating weight, yeah, both in the way it looked, both in the way it sounded, and the way he had it built. And I've been after this board off of Future Crime for a really, really long time. And he was kind enough to actually reach out to me the other week and sell this and another Korean board, a Lin Montage, to me at the same time. So I've had this about a month now in my collection, and I'm only just getting around to building it today, but I'm really, really excited for this. This is like a board that I've been after for so long, yeah. It's just going to be a weight and a PCB that floats around, but yeah, there you go, guys. It's so nice. In terms of key sets, we'll have two choices for you guys today. You guys will be able to pick and choose. And we'll do a bit of a poll later on. One of the options will be JTK Vostok, which looks pretty good, triple shot set. The other option will be GMK Analog Dreams. So there we go. Those will be the two options. You guys can pick later on. So start having a think around what you'd like to see on this particular board. I do have all of the kits for Analog Dreams and all of the kits for Vostok. So if you want to see the different alphas or whatever else, we can look at those options too. So yeah, really excited to do that. In terms of switches today, we are going to be using Tangerine Around 1 switches. So these are the very, very first edition of Tangerines that ran, which were Gateron switches, which had the milky tops and the black bases. So I can show you that here. Milky tops, black based Tangerine switches. These have been lubed just with an oil, so these have only been lubed with Krytox 105. There's no grease on these or anything like that. It's just an oil in there. Same on the springs, Krytox 105, nothing else. So we'll see how these go. Now, these original Tangerines, V1 Tangerines, they actually ran 2 rounds of them. And I think that because of the slight difference in colour, which you guys might be able to see, if you look here, all the ones above this point, so to this side and up here, are slightly yellow. These ones are a little bit whiter. I think that these were the very, very first ones, and these actually came in the second batch of these switches, because all of the ones after here are a much brighter white on the milky tops, whereas these ones are slightly yellow. So either way, they're the same switches, they're going to sound the same, they're going to feel the same, but I think there must have been a slight tweak to the plastic, maybe on its UV protection or something like that, that's just slightly affected those switches, because even from a distance, you can see that these ones here are lighter in colour in the milkiness than these ones, which are kind of, they have gone a milky, kind of like a, almost like a UV damaged beigey colour. So yeah, who knows? Those are the switches, and then in terms of the stabilizers today, we'll be using some from Faxa 360, just cherry clip-in switches, stabs, which we're going to clip and lube and use these directly. I have exchanged the wires for these for Duroc wires, so we're going to be using the gold Duroc wires in the cherry housings, which we're going to clip and lube as well. So there we go. That's the plan. That's the build. Jay tricking us, no plate here. I promise you there is a plate in my hands. There is a plate here. I know you guys can't see it on stream, but I promise you there is a plate there. I think if I tilt it like that, you can probably see it a little bit better. I promise the plate does exist. It's not invisible. It's a real thing. It is here. We've also got Mech Clicks here as well. Hey man, good to see you. Another streamer. You guys should check Mech Clicks out if you haven't already. I think it was just over a week ago when we actually raided him during the main Top Clack show. But yeah, Metclicks is a great guy, so definitely go check him out. And he says, oh, the lube station. Yeah, I've had this lube station a long time now, quite a few years. And I'm going to try and make some improvements to it and cut some of my own loop stations that are going to be slightly different to this, but should be a little bit better, but have the same sort of number of switches on. So yeah, that's in plan. So, kind words. No, man, no worries, not at all. So there we go. That's a lot that I've just covered, guys. If you guys have got any questions, feel free to drop them in chat. I'm just going to take a minute to finish my coffee, and then we will make a start. But I'm really, really excited to build this board. I can't tell you how many times I must have pestered Future Crime to ask him to give me this board or sell me this board. So it's really, really nice to finally have it in my collection. Stash builds boards, he's here as well. He says hello. Hey Stash, thanks very much for joining the stream, my man. Good to see you. Gilbert as well. Hey man, good to see you. He says hello, Jay. Well, hello to you all. Thank you very much for joining. Moozerides asks a good question. He says, how do Tangies V1 compare to more modern Tangies? So these particular tangerines, they are basically just a recolored milky topped Gatoron. The springs are slightly different, and these springs are absolutely excellent. Some of my favorite springs in terms of weight and consistency. I believe they were 67 grams, but these just feel really nice. What I will say is the new tangerines are smoother because they're JWK switches, and JWK switches are pretty much the smoothest switch on the market at the minute, just stock. What these have going for them, though, is the fact that they just sound so good. Because they're a black-based, milky-topped Gatoron, they just have a great sound profile, which is one of my favourites in the hobby. My money would go on these any day of the week. Now, other switches that are similar but not the same are Fey switches, FEI, Fey switches. Those were the matcha green style ones, and they actually used a milky bottom that was dyed green rather than using the black base and dyeing the black base green, which means that they do not feel as good. The black bases are far superior to the milky bases, in my opinion. So I don't like the Fey switches, but I do really like these tangerine switches. Tangerine V2s are really nice switches as well. They're the full orange JWK version. They are incredibly smooth, smoother than these ones, but they just don't have the same sound profile. So there we go. That's my quick view on those. V1 Tangy, says Gilbert. Yeah, that's exactly it. Pokemon Kid says, good evening, Jay. You have got a board which I've always loved. Dude, you were there at that same meetup when I was coveting this board and trying to get Future Crime to sell it to me there and then. I'm sure you remember that. But yeah, it's a board that I've been after for a long, long time, and it's finally here, and we're finally going to build it. Japani Trat is here as well. He says, good evening. Good evening, man. Good to see you. Pokemon Kid says, the new Tangerines JWK switches are ever so slightly shorter, and my fingers notice it kills me inside. I don't notice that. I don't notice that. I don't notice that. Who's John? Did I call someone John? Did I call someone John? I don't know. I don't know who John is. Rabbit Sensei is here as well. He's talking to Gilbert and Treeleaf. What's your opinion on creams? So, creams are a nice switch. They've got a good sound profile. They're loud, they're clacky. If you want that kind of thing, they're good. You need to wear them in before you lube them. You need to break them in. You need to use them a bit before you lube them, because they have a kind of rubbery feel if you don't. It's almost like a leathery bottom out that just needs breaking in. And once that's gone, lube them. They're a great switch. It just takes a little bit of time to get them right. That's my view. Pokemon Kid says, I was too. I was trying to get him to sell it to me. Sorry, man. I got there before you. Just one of those things. It's just memes. It's just memes. Oh, the name John is just memes. I see. I see. Fair enough. Fair enough. I apologize if I interrupted your John memes, but I'm glad you're all happy anyway. Okay, so now we've talked about the board, we've talked about the switches. It's time to start looking at our stabilizers and getting our stabilizers ready to go in the board. Dingus says, have you tried the Hyperglide cherry switches? I haven't as yet, no. I haven't tried the new Hyperglide switches. I do have some on the way. As soon as they arrive, I'll give them a try, but I haven't tried them as yet. So I don't have an opinion that is reliable or informed on those switches just yet. What I do know is I've spoken to a few people who tried them, who say they are like a reasonably good retooled cherry black. But that's the only thing I've seen people have opinions on so far. Okay. First job, we are going to clip and lube our stabilizers. So just to show you guys, this is a stabilizer insert. When the camera focuses, camera please. Come on, camera. There we go. We are actually going to clip the two thinnest legs. If you look at it from that angle, you can see one of the legs is really thin. And one of the legs is really thin at the back as well. Those two thin legs, one at the front, one at the back, those are the ones we're going to clip off. And we're just going to take them off with some flush cutters. Got something stuck on my nail here. Okay. What material is the plate? The plate is polycarbonate, the same as the board. It's just completely clear, unfrosted polycarbonate, which means it's really difficult to show you on the overhead camera, but I promise you the plate is there and it's not invisible. And there you go, guys. That is what a clipped insert looks like. Take the two thinnest legs off, and that's what you're left with. Just going to replicate that across the rest of the inserts. Would love to hear your response on them. I've just bought 300 Vint Blacks and should have tried the Hyperglides first. Yeah, Vint Blacks are often hit and miss for me. Cherry stabs. Yes, Dingus, we're going old school cherry. Basically, my latest shipment of stabilizers that are Duroc and otherwise have not arrived. Therefore, I am using stabilizers I have in stock, which is clip-in cherry. Which TKL is this? The one on the desk just here. That is the new SCOG reboot. That is, I built it last week on stream. The video is on YouTube and on Twitch, I believe, still. I'm actually going to be giving that particular board away in the new year. So some point in January, I'll be running a giveaway during one of my build streams where we'll give that exact board away. And it's running GMK Matrix 01 is the keycap set that's on there. It was given to me for free by Percent Studios, which is why I'm going to give it away. But it's that good. I've enjoyed using it that much that I've actually bought myself a version of the board as well. I bought it in wine. This is the desert color, but I was so thoroughly impressed by it that I've actually bought myself a version of the board as well. Okay, almost there with clipping these switches now, guys. No, keycap's not included, just the board and the switches. The keycap set is mine, and mine alone. Oh no. Oh no! The whole insert there just cracked on me, so I'm going to have to find another cherry insert. Give me 1 second, guys. It's a long time since I've had that happen when I've been clipping cherry stabilizers, but it just cracked the whole thing on me. So let me find another one. There we go. Yeah, the board was given to me for free, so therefore I'm comfortable giving that away. I paid for the key set, so I'm not going to give that away. Plus GMK Matrix. Yeah, I mean, these are really old stabs, so it could be just that the plastic is a little bit old and a little bit frail. But it actually, it just cracked all the way through when I snipped it. I'll show you, actually. So I was trying to snip this little leg off here, if the camera will focus. Come on, camera, please. Clipped that little leg off there, and it clipped the whole thing off. The plastic just cracked all the way through and took the whole front of the stabilizer insert off. So there you go. That's what happened. Okay, now we have clipped those through. I'm just going to insert the inserts into the housings, and then we're going to be ready to start lubing the wires. And then once we've lubed the wires, we can insert them into the housings. Then we'll lube the sliders on the housings as well, and then we'll be able to get them into the board. Okay. Cherry QC. Well, these are really, really old stabilizers. I've probably had these in my drawer for 18 months, 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. It's a long time since that's happened to any cherry stabilizer while I've been clipping it though. The 959 Mini in the UK, if you got the standard version, including VAT through Lewis and everything else, I think it was like £900 or something. It was not a cheap board. Which is about $1,100, $1,200, I think. Okay, now we've put these all together, we're just gonna lube the wires, and then we'll slide the housings together. To be fair, you void the warranty by clipping the legs. That's very true. That's very true. But something tells me I'm not going to claim the warranty on some stabilizer housings. That would feel a little bit, given the value of them being so cheap, it would feel very, very cheap to complain about something like that, which is effectively a disposable part. Dinger's saying, uh-oh. Uh-oh, what's wrong? What are we saying uh-oh for? What are we saying uh-oh for? The price. Ah, the price of the 959 Mini. Yeah. I don't know what the group buy price was. I only talked to Lewis about the private version of the board. But I think it was around that sort of price. It's an expensive board. Give me my 76p back, Cherry. Yeah. If it costs less than a stamp, I don't see the point in claiming it back. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I don't know what the group buy one was, Oxy. I only know about the private group buy version. So that's the only thing I've seen a price on, or that I've actively looked for a price on. So yeah, the actual group buy version may have been different, but you're still going to have £200 odd worth of VAT and import duties. And I think under the new rules as well, that will actually take duties of 7.5% instead of 2.5%. So you'll have 20% VAT plus 7% duties plus your courier's fee in the UK. How's that Skog? The Skog is great. Yeah, the Skog is really good. I've been thoroughly happy with it. Been using it for 2 weeks now. Really, really happy with it. But here today we're building a polycarbonate LZST, which is a board I've been after for a long, long time. Like, so long, it's difficult for me to even tell you how long it is. You got Burned by the Canoe. The Canoe Gen 2 is a great board. I'm a big fan of my Canoe Gen 2. I paid for that and bought that myself. The Skog was gifted to me by Percent Studios, but that's why I'm giving it away in the new year. Rather than keep something that's gifted to me, it's better to give it away. Sharing that love. Yeah, I've seen the CU7 disc macropad. It's not my favorite macropad. The rotor is a better one. I think just for me, the rotor looks really, really good. It's a little bit more expensive, but yeah, I've picked that up instead, which is in group buy right now. This is a 205 grade 2 lube. This is what I usually use for lubricating stabilizers. It's a nice thick lube for this job. It does the job really, really well. And it's relatively easy to apply as well. I buy it by the kilo, as you can see. How limited is what? HQLE. How limited is what? We've talked about a few products. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there, good sir. Okay. Is 205G2 available somewhere for the regular customer? I think you can pick it up on eBay. I think loob.io, loob.io, I think they stock it as well. I did look into stocking it, which is why I buy it by the kilogram, but like stocking lube is so difficult once you become VAT registered because the price you have to charge adds 20% on, and then you have like tubs to buy and it takes time to do it. It's just easy to leave it up to other people, if I'm being completely honest. So that's why I don't sell it. But I think lube.io sells it, so you can check out there. Or lube.no, sorry, lube.no. The board, as far as I'm aware, there is only 2 of these boards at HQLE. There is only 2 polycarbonate LZSTs to my knowledge. Now I could be wrong on that. There could be more since then, but as far as I'm aware, there is only 2. Yeah, the LZST ran in 2016. You're right. This board is from the back end of that run, and I saw it in 2017 the first time. And I coveted it every moment since, until I was able to add it to my collection. So just going back now, lubing the slider rails, just putting a really, really light coating on here. Don't want too much on. It's easier to add more lube later than it is to remove it, so make sure you don't put too much in. And we're just putting a small piece of lube right in the back as well, where the wire pokes out of the back of the insert. I haven't tried G00, no. I did get some, actually. I do have some, not from Novel Keys, but from Store Uni, which was a lube vendor that turned up a couple of years ago. But yeah. So much lubes on lubes.no. I mean, that's kind of what he does. But like, I just can't get anywhere near those prices because of VAT. I'd actually have to sell it as a loss to get near his prices on my store, which is unfortunate. Okay, almost done with these stabilizers now. Not too much further to go. I'm not selling it at a loss, no. Especially not when it takes so much time to prepare and effort to prepare and put it in vials and everything else. Like, I've already taken enough of a loss by buying the damn stuff in volumes that I'll never use. Matt, the Pokemon Kid, you know, because I just sent you. I sent you like half a kilo of lube just to do 900 switches with, so you know exactly what I mean by buying it in bulk. I've never heard of XHTBDZ. I've never heard of that lube. Try it and tell us. Just go try it and tell us what you think to it. There are some really, really obscure versions of Krytox lubes, though, that are used for aerospace industries and things like that. In fact, one of the biggest uses of Krytox lubes is actually in the motor industry. If you've ever driven a new car that has a crack or a crease or a noise of plastic rubbing on plastic while you've been driving it, what the car companies usually use is Krytox different greases and oils to go around with a little paintbrush and put it in the cracks and nooks and cracks and crannies where the plastics meet and everything else. That's what it's used for. It's used in the motor industry heavily for that. 300 switches already done. Well, you promised to be with me by Christmas, Pokemon Kid. So that's another 600 to do, and you're going to have to post them Thursday of this week, I think, to get them to me by Christmas. What's my favorite spring weight? Personally, I prefer 78-gram springs or 72-gram springs. Those are my two favorite spring weights. But I do use a lot of springs that are a little bit lighter or a little bit heavier, depending on what board I'm using. Coffee's getting cold now after 45 minutes of streaming. Okay, so time to put our stabilizers in the board. As I say, we are using clip-ins today, so no screws needed. We can just clip these into the board. One of the interesting things about today as well is we're going to have a problem getting these switches in the board, and I will tell you for why. Now, I haven't tested this out yet, but I remember the last time that I built on one of these PCBs, and the cutouts for the switches are fine apart from the legs of the switches. So the pins are on either side that hold the switch in place, the two on the left and the right of the actual switch itself. They are notoriously tight on this particular PCB, so it can be an issue. Right, I need to work out which stabilizer space we need to go in. I don't think it tells me on here. It doesn't tell me on the back. Let's see if there are multiple spaces where a 6.25U will go. So we'll go there. Would it go here? Okay. Okay. I think we need some keycaps and some switches to work out where the spacebar is going to go here. So let's just use some keycaps for a second from this set. We're going to need a 6.25U spacebar, which I think this is the 6.25. Yes, so we need the spacebar, and then we're going to need 3 1.25U keycaps. Okay. And this is just going to be so that we can make sure everything is aligned on that bottom row because it's not labeled. And this bottom row is one of those bottom rows that offers 96 different spacebar positions. So because of that, I just want to make sure we're going to be in the right spot. Okay. Oh, interesting. Does this not offer a... Oh, there we go. I thought this didn't offer the layout I wanted then, which was 3 1.25U keys. Right, okay, spacebar time. So we're going to put the stabilizer in first, into the keycap, if we can. And then we're going to work out where that needs to be to line it up with that particular okay, and there we go. We can see we've got the bottom row all lined up. We can take this off, pop that to one side. We can take the switches out, pop that to one side, and then we can just make sure that our stabilizer is fully intact. They're all in place now, and that gets us ready for the switches. Was it before New Year? I'm pretty sure it was before Christmas. Do I have to go back and check? Let me go back and check. Let me go back and check. Why is it not finding you? I am checking. I am checking. We're talking about humidors here. I'm scrolling. I can't find it. I can't find it. We did say New Year. He's right. We did say New Year. I checked. We did say before New Year. Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'd really like an ember mug. Have you seen those? I have an ember mug. Yes, I have one in the kitchen just behind me. Yeah. It comes with a hot plate coaster. Yeah, it's a temperature drink in the mug. Yeah, so you do it on your phone. You control it by an app on your phone. I think I have the app on my phone. The mug isn't actually plugged in. I find that it's a little bit too small for a decent sized cup of coffee. I do have the app somewhere. I'm sure I have the app. Yeah, okay. So it's trying to connect to the mug now, but it's not going to work. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I have the Ember app. It's a good thing. The mugs just aren't quite big enough for me. I just need a bigger mug. That's the trick. Bigger mug. Do I prefer 6.25U or 7U? It depends on the board. For certain layouts, like a 66 key layout, I prefer a 6.25U. For TKLs, 7U wing keyless all the way. So it really depends. Really depends. Don't worry, Jay won't meet his self-imposed deadline for me either. What imposed deadline do I have for you, Mr. Petrov? If you've done the first 300, you can send them back, dude, and I'll cover shipping. Yeah, really, maybe more of an espresso cup. I mean, it's like 250 milliliters, but this one's 400, so I can't really show you it sideways on. This one's 400. This is not heated. This is a Le Creuset pottery mug, but it's a really good mug. The spreadsheet. The spreadsheet will be done, Mr. Petrov. It'll be done. It just needs to put the numbers in. It'll be done. Don't you worry about that. Okay, so now the next job. This is going to be the hard part. So as I said before, the legs on these switches, these kind of like legs that are on the sides. When you look at the bottom of the switch, it's got the two legs here and here. Come on, camera, focus. I need to get the autofocus sorted on this. Those legs do not fit in the holes on this PCB very well. So I know that this is going to be a difficult one to push in. So the trick is going to be, I think, going one by one, getting them in the middle into the plate, then getting them into the PCB and getting it aligned nice and neatly is going to be the trick. The J score isn't coming back. We're going to do the community score starting in January, but that's all going to be just your guys' views. It's not going to be my kind of views or opinions. It's just going to be what chat thinks. Just going to be what chat thinks. I have no idea how you get holy water. I remember clipping the legs of switches when I built my clue board, dude. Yeah, it's like a thin. Like these are going in, but this plate isn't the tightest around the switches either. So I think what we're going to do is I might just start in the center actually, rather than carry on from where I am, and then just work my way out, spiral outwards. But yeah, they're taking some pressing to get in. Man, they're tight. Get the hell out of it. I see. It was a joke. I thought it was a serious question, man. I thought you were really asking me, how do you get holy water? I would have no clue. I'm not a religious person, I'm afraid, folks. Penguin Droppings is here. I've had a good old laugh. Holy water for your coffee. That's truly Coveffi. Flashbacks of Vietnam. from clue boards. I built a few clue boards, man. One of my favourite customs of all time was my first clue board. I loved that thing. I have no idea what ever happened to it though. I don't own it anymore, but I can't remember if I sold it or gave it away or whether I just lost it. I have no idea what happened to it. Okay. Okay, so the plate isn't staying up around this switch. It's kind of dropping around back down to the bottom. So I'm just going to put switches on this row, this column, sorry. Or I would do if I didn't put in a switch that had a bent pin. Didn't you get a £40 clue board once upon a time? I did, man. I did. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Marukt sold that to me. That was a different board. I definitely gave that one away. That's not the one I'm referencing actually. That was a secondary one, but I did get a clue board for £40 or £50 once. Yeah, I think it was like £65 once it was shipped. It was a great bargain. Okay. Okay, that's in. It's in. It's in. There we go. There are more boards in your collection now, Matt, than there were when we were trying to get that clue board, I'll be honest. Because I remember not being sure if we were going to get it or not, but the guy, Marukt, is still around. He's still a great guy as well. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you. Good to see you. I saw the JO2 you built the other day, man. It sounded really, really good. I hope you enjoyed the board. Okay. Just trying to make sure that everything is aligned correctly here, guys, because the switches don't clip into this plate particularly well. So I'm just making sure everything's all nice and neatly aligned and everything else, just as we go through each one, because the last thing I want is for it to be slightly off when we get towards the end of the build. So I'm just making sure it's all in position around each switch as it should be. Which is just taking me a little bit more time than usual. I remember messaging about them possibly being a scammer because it was a brand new clue board for super cheap. Yeah, I remember as well, dude. I remember that conversation. But I paid the money, got the board, it was good. Okay. Slightly twisted pin on this one, so I'm just going to untwist it and straighten it up. These are reused switches, so these are switches that have been desoldered from another board. Just check, make sure that has not got bent pin. No, we're all good. All good on that front. Okay, it looks like the ISO enter key is flipped to that side. Is that in nicely? Just checking it's all even and flush. There we go. Whew, getting warm in here now. All this expended effort. Andy, I don't know how you you do the exercises on your commands on stream. I don't often get to watch your streams live, but when I see the replays and you're always doing the exercise in the background, man, Don't know how you do it. Don't know how you do it. I am not as fit as I once was when I was your age. Results in heavy breathing for like 5 minutes afterwards. Dude, you are a machine, man. You're a machine. Like seriously, I walk to the workshop where I am now from home. That does me. It's like 3 miles, and that does me. The other day you forgot to turn the noise gate off, so it was legit not cancelled. Hey, at least it's honest, man. At least it's honest. I'm drinking 2 things. Well, I've just finished a cup of coffee. It's like the end of it, but it's gone cold because I've been streaming for too long and ignoring it. But this is Iron Brew, which is a classic UK soft drink. I can't really tell you what it tastes like because it doesn't taste like anything. So it's not like a fruity one or anything like that. Orange drinks makes me want to Fanta. It doesn't taste anything like oranges or orange juice or anything like that. Switch Doctor AU is here. Hey man, good to see you, my dude. I'm just going to try lifting the plate up here in this corner if I can get in. Just because it's dropped a little bit. There we go. How do you drink coffee in the evening? Quite easily. Quite easily. Like, the latest I usually have a coffee is about 9 p.m, but that's usually because I'm in the workshop until 1 a.m, so... I've had an energy drink at 5 p.m. and still pass out by midnight. Yeah, I'm the same. I could do exactly that. 9 p.m. is usually kind of like last call for a coffee for me, and then work to the workshop until 1 a.m. Home for 2 a.m. and then I usually just go straight to sleep. Back up at 7 at the latest, into the workshop for 8, and we're good. Oh, man, some of these switches are super tight. Super tight. We're getting there, though. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Yeah, I mean, I have 2 jobs, Dingus, that's the thing. So I have my day job, which I do from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m, Monday to Friday, 1 week, and then Monday to Thursday the next week. And then around that, I need to be at the workshop for deliveries for prototypists. So I'm always here in this workspace. I'm in the office space now. Just behind me, there's the window and the shutters, and then the workshop's behind this wall. But I always need to be here for deliveries, and then I'll nip home for dinner, be back at the workshop for 7 p.m, and then I'll work right through to 1 a.m. and then rinse and repeat the next day. But I'm always here a little bit before I need to be. So I'm usually here, it's usually about 7:30, 8 a.m. when I get here, if not a little bit earlier. And that gives me a chance to have a coffee, set myself up for the day, make sure if any of the machines need turning on or the 3D printers need resetting or anything like that, it's all sorted and it's running fine. Andreas and Tot says, I just built my first keyboard ever about 2 weeks ago. It's a Tofu case, a DZ60 PCB, GAT yellow switches, brass plate, and just my old keycaps because I was unsure about which ones I wanted when I ordered the parts. What do you think about those parts for a first-time build? It's a solid first build, man. GAT yellows are a great switch for the price. They're a good starter switch. They're incredibly smooth. I highly rate them, especially the springs in them. So yeah, I think it's a good build for a start. I bought some weights during lockdown. They haven't seen much use. I have weights that I keep in the workshop, and I have like a yoga pad, and I'll do a bit of yoga most days when I'm on my lunch break from the day job. But I'll just try and do a few stretches, put some relaxing music on, do a few stretches, lift a few weights, do a few bits and pieces. But I don't do a huge amount. Like I'm not a gym bunny anymore. Not since my early 20s. But yeah, I do enough to just keep myself going. If I drink anything coffee flavored after 3 p.m., I probably won't fall asleep at all. I want to be like you when I grow up, Jay. Andy, you do not want to have my lifestyle. You do not want to have my lifestyle. It's very demanding and very mentally challenging at times. My day job is incessant. It's incessant. But maybe in the new year, maybe at some point in 2021, I won't have the day job anymore, and I will just be full-time keyboard land. Maybe. We'll see. James seems to be living the life right now. I enjoy my life. I would never say that I didn't. I really do enjoy life. I mean, we've had some bad news over COVID. My wife's lost her job. She's found another one recently. We lost my uncle last week just to actually COVID, and a few other people during the year as well that are closely related. My girlfriend's, my wife's grandfather as well. So it's been a tough year all round. It's been a tough year all round. I used to be a gym bunny. I'm not anymore. Like in my early 20s, I would be there 6 days a week. Yeah. Like I have some pictures from.
Very nice.
Andy, thank you very much. That is very, very nice of you. Thank you, dude, for 5 tier 1 gift subs. One Drunk Man, Sugar Pruthy, possibly Ben, Acidic Pure, and Oxy.
Ooh,
thank you, man.
Very nice.
That is very nice. Thank you, man. Thank you. It has been a really tough year. That does make it a little bit better. Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate it, man. Oh, dude. Thank you.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh, very nice. It is very, very nice of you. What size soldering tip do I use? I just use the standard. Hold on, I'll tell you the code because it'll be on here. It's a TSB2.
Nice.
TSB2 on the TS100 soldering iron. A TSB2. So there you go. Glad you lubed the stabs, man. Glad you lubed the stabs. You can always go back and lube the switches later on if you need to. Just desolder.
Very nice.
Oh, Andy, that's so nice of you. It's very nice. I do love the quote was then from a guy in the UK called Rudy. He does our voiceovers for the subs.
Ooh, very nice.
That's very nice. Ooh, very nice. The bits one is also good as well. People drop bits. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Nice to see Jay still keeping up the grind, even with how bad the year's been going. Dude, the year has been horrid. The year has been a horrid year for a lot of people. So many people have died due to COVID and other things, and it's been a really sad year for a lot of people. Lots of jobs have been lost. Economies have been destroyed. People have been sick. People haven't been able to see their friends and families. One of my best friends actually had a child this year. He had a son called Harrington. I haven't been able to go see him. Because I can't go over there because of COVID. It's sad. Thank you very much, Moose Rides, for the 3 months. I appreciate that, my dude. It's always a fun and learning experience. Yeah. This lube station is just one that I found on AliExpress like 3-4 years ago. So I don't know the name of it, I'm afraid, but I am going to make some of my own on my laser cutter in the next couple of weeks that are going to be an improvement on this layout. 2021 will absolutely be a better year. Yes. 2021 will be a better year all round. I'm 100% convinced of that already. Okay. trying to get the plate to sit evenly on all of these switches, but that's not the case because this one, the plate has dropped around it. So I'm just going to pull this switch out if I can, if the switch doesn't break on me. And then have a go at reseating this. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try coming one switch over and trying to get the plate to sit around that switch. And then once we've got it to sit around that switch, we'll go back and fill in the missing hole. That's the plan. Okay. Okay, are we just going to sweep under the rug how posh Jay's friend sounds with a kid called Harrington? He's not posh. He's no posher than I am, Matt. And I am not posh. But yeah, the kid's called Harrington. I've seen pictures of him, but I haven't seen him in real life yet. Jay Saint says, initial thoughts on the new containers you got for key sets. It's a pain not to have all kits in the same containers, or do you prefer it that way? So, let me be clear. That's a base kit in the tub. I could easily fit the novelties and the numpad and ISO in there if I wanted to. That would fit in there. But a set like Analog Dreams also has the hiragana and space bars, and then it has the other two kits as well. So most sets will just fit in there, and I can label them up as such. So this one says, as you can see here, it says base kit. I could just put them all in one and label them up, but for me personally, I think it's just nicer to separate them out. I got those boxes. They're so useful. Yeah, I've got about 400 of the boxes in the warehouse right now, just because I need a lot for my key sets. But yeah, I may start selling them if it works. Chair, I don't have a command for chair, but is the Nui chair. I'll grab you a link to the chair that I use. Okay, here's a link to the chair that I used January. There you go. Do I recommend the Skog? I really enjoy the Skog. Like, since I built it, I've really enjoyed using it. Because this one was a freebie and it was sent to me by Percent Studios, I'm actually going to give this one away in the new year. It wouldn't be fair of me to keep something I was given for free, but I liked it that much that I've bought one myself. I've actually gone out and bought a Skog in a slightly different colorway. I've bought it in the wine colorway. This is the desert one, but yeah, I've bought myself one because I thoroughly enjoy it. I've got nowhere near sorting out all my GMK sets now. I'm well into triple figures on GMK sets, so I have no idea even what I actually have, to be honest. So no, I'm nowhere near sorting them out. But a guy called Tinkerton is going to come over and help me label up and organize all of my personal stuff in the warehouse in exchange for some free time on the laser cutter in the new year. So that's something I'm really looking forward to as well. Did you see the Random Frank P video the other day? He had an app which came with like an inventory thing which comes with a bunch of QR codes. Yeah, I've actually looked at doing some whole QR coding stuff for the whole warehouse. Not just for personal stuff, but like for actual stock as well for the company, for Prototypist. It's probably something that's going to happen at some point in the next year, but it's not something I need quite yet. But yeah, there will be a whole methodology shift in terms of how Prototypist works from an inventory perspective in the new year, because there's just that much stuff in the warehouse now that I'm already losing track of what we have and what we don't have. How would you rank FR4, POM, PC, and carbon fiber plates when it comes to flex? So those with the most flex are PC and POM, then FR4, and then carbon fiber is the stiffest. So I would say it's PC, then POM, then FR4, and then carbon fiber, softest to hardest. Do what have an EU proxy bagels? Let me know what you mean about an EU proxy. Can't wait for what's to come. Loads to come in the new year for prototypists, man. Like the whole world is changing due to Brexit, but there is a lot of stuff to come for prototypist. Wait. Okay, there's two cutouts here for ISO left shift. Why has it got two cutouts there? I think it wants that one. Same as the stepped caps lock. There we go. Okay, and then we know this one needs to be in the same position for the bottom row as left shift. And this is where we're just going to get these keys out again and work out where I'm just putting the keys on the switches very, very lightly. We're just going to work out and make sure that the bottom row is in the right position before we start to clip everything together. Okay, that's those two in. And we're going to put this one in place. There we go. And we're going to get our space bar ready. Sounds good. Okay, and then we're going to need some more switches just to do the far hand side. So I think we're going to do, if I remember rightly, it's two 1.5U keycaps. I think, let's just see how that works. Or is it not? So we're going to go 1.25 keycaps. Okay. It's a long time since I've built this layout, but okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Just going to get some more 1.25U keycaps ready, guys, and then we'll be able to get these in place. I'm just going to pop a 1U keycap on there just to make sure we can see everything is aligned correctly. Percent don't have an EU proxy for the canoe. No, I'm afraid not. I have got a JPOM plate here, and I can bend it so the left side touches the right side. Yeah. So I mean, there's two different ways: flexibility and actual distortion of the plates are two things. So in my head, there's two different measurements that you want to use. One is how much does it flex when typing. That case, I would say that PC is softer than POM, but in terms of actual pure flexibility, when you can almost fold POM in half before it creases and succumbs to stress. So they're two very different measurements in my head. Why? Okay, I see. So when this has been desoldered, we have a pad here that has not been desoldered all the way through. You can see one of the pads there. It's just full all the way through. So we are going to have to quickly just heat that up to be able to get the switch in. So I'm just going to run the soldering iron into there. Hopefully we're going to be able to clear that out. Okay, looks like we're going to have to push the switch in whilst we do it. So I'm just going to put the other one into position here. And then we're going to put the last one in. And as we put this in, we're just going to heat up the pad. In fact, that needs to be a 1U, doesn't it? That's not... Yes, that wants to be a 1U key just here, not a 1.25. Okay, and we have heated it up enough just to remove that, so there we go. That's going to be our bottom row. Okay, great. Now we can take the caps off and just make sure we keep the switches in place. Well, CF will actually split before you fold it in half. Long time before you fold it in half. GMK Brexit. Brexit is a weird thing. And JS, you've already done enough for Prototypist, man. We will get there. There's loads more projects coming up for Prototypist in the new year. Lots more. Brexit will not affect a lot of what we do. Yeah, I mean, there's flexibility in typing, and there's the Young's modulus and all of that kind of stuff for it. So there. It's just a PC sounds clackier just because of the material it is. Like materials, the softness of material isn't necessarily how bendy it is. That's just how flexible a material is. Softness and flexibility are two different aspects of a material. Like acrylic is quite hard, but if you get it in thin enough sheets, it's incredibly flexible as well. But it's quite brittle. So you're actually hearing something that's more brittle. So whilst PC is softer for bottom out in terms of switch pressure. It's much more brittle than POM. That's the difference. Acrylic plates, you don't sound even more clacky. Exactly. No worries, man. No worries. 3 brain sizes. That's a lot, man. That's a huge amount. 3 brain sizes, a huge amount. Okay, guys, right, we're at that point of the stream where it's now time for me to actually do some soldering and do some proper work instead of just pushing switches into a plate. So, you guys can tag me with @TopClack and ask any question you'd like. It can be related to keyboards, it can be related to life and love, the universe, you name it, you can ask me any question. As long as I can answer it in a Twitch safe way and it doesn't break terms of service, I will answer any question you ask. The world's your oyster. You guys can ask anything you like. So while I'm just checking that I don't have any bent pins before I solder, you guys start to think about what questions you'd like to ask and just tag me with @TopClack, get them into chat, and I will answer any question that you guys raise as long as I can answer it in a Twitch safe way. Any question at all, and we will go for it. I just realized I haven't put a switch in backspace, so we will rectify that in just a moment. I'm just going to check for bent pins all the way through. These switches are being reused. They have been desoldered from another build, and they are being reused. So I do want to make sure that they are 100% correct before we solder them in. Bent pins are much more prevalent in switches that are being reused, so it's just worth bearing that in mind. Okay, all looking good. Making sure these are all straight as well. Okay, no bent pins, so we're good to go. We need to pop a switch in backspace, and then we're good to start soldering. And there we go. How much time am I able to spend with my significant other on a regular basis? Man, that's a tough question. My wife, she works from home now. So since COVID happened, she lost her job and then she's found another job. She started just a week ago. But she works from home. Usually I spend an hour a night with her. So Monday to Friday, I'll spend 1 hour a night with her, which will be when we have dinner together and we'll watch an episode of a TV show or whatever before I come back to the workshop. And one night a week, she will come back to the workshop, and whilst I'm working here, I've got a PS5 and a TV that's just the other side of this monitor. She'll sit up here with the dog and she'll watch TV. So she's around, even if I'm working in the workshop or if I'm sat here, and we can still chat and talk and stuff like that. On a weekend, I usually spend most of Saturdays with her, so we will go to the park, walk the dog on a Saturday morning. That's usually a few hours. And then sometimes I'll come to the workshop, sometimes I won't. Sundays are family day. So Sundays, guaranteed, we have a lazy morning. We will spend most of the morning together, cook breakfast together usually if we're eating breakfast or whatever. Then usually spend most of the day doing jobs around the house together, making sure all the chores are done, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we spend a fair bit of time. I'd probably say that we spend about 15-20 hours a week together on average, and of course we sleep in the same bed every night, so that's time we get spent together as well, I guess, depending on how you want to look at it. But I definitely spend more hours a week here at the workshop than I do at home. But it works for us, and the wife sometimes comes and helps me, so yeah, it's okay. It works. Have you ever tried any electric USB soldering tool? I do have a USB soldering iron, but I don't like it. The power's not as consistent as it is from the Walls mains, so I prefer to use a Walls mains soldering iron. Personal preference, but that's just what I like. Okay, Duckcom says, all right, Jay, let's hear it. What's your whole collection worth? Keyboards and keycaps. I genuinely don't have a clue. I've got somewhere in the region of about 200 customs, and somewhere in the region, low triple figures of, say, GMK sets, probably somewhere in the region of around 150 keycap sets in total, when you start to include SA, DSA, all those other things, MT3, and you name it, all the other keycap profiles. And then I've got a couple of thousand artisans as well. So I genuinely don't know. One of my friends, Tinkerton, is actually going to come around and catalogue everything I have for me in the new year. Once he's done that, then I'm happy to open up the spreadsheet to the public if people are interested in seeing what's in the collection, and you guys can infer what you'd like from that. But yeah, I mean, board values anywhere between $100 and $1,000, I guess, and it depends on whether you mean sale price or aftermarket price as well, because those are two very different things. Yeah, we've got a few boards. Some of them have like intrinsic value as well. It's not just about money. It's more about the emotion behind them as well. So, for example, the TX board I have that's all fully hand carved and everything else, that's not necessarily worth a lot monetary wise, but it is worth a lot emotional wise. So it really depends. Fedemito says, final thoughts on the SCOG reboot. I'm a big fan of the SCOG reboot. I think it sounds great. I think it looks great. It's been on my desk all week since I built it. I really enjoy it. I haven't tried the Bluetooth as yet. We might try that if I've got time after doing this build today. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the SCOG reboot. I think it's a really good board. Some of the details that they've machined into it, I don't know how they've kept the price as low as they have. Like, I know they've now got their own in-house manufacturing and everything else, but the way they've kept the price so low for that kind of level of quality and detail in the actual build, and detail in the design and the detail in the machining, it's kind of impressive. It's really impressive. Okay. Acidic Pure says, decided to jump on the E7 V2. I've never tried one of the boards by exclusive, so hopefully it'll be nice. I have a couple of boards by him. I have an E8 and I have an E6.5 as well. I enjoy both of those boards. I think they're really good, so I'm sure you'll be fine. I have an E6 V2 as well, actually. So I have 3 of his boards. Yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy it, dude. Bagel's asking what I do for work. Is Top Clack full time? Top Clack is not full time. Top Clack is about 15 hours a week. Sorry, not even that now. It's probably 10 hours a week between 2 streams and then preparation. So I do a 3-hour build stream every Sunday, and then we do a 3-hour show every Thursday or Friday. It's about 6 hours streaming and about 4 hours of prep for each of those streams. So it's about 10 hours a week is Top Clack. Then I've got Prototypist, which I do for about, I don't know, 50 hours a week, which is my personal keyboard store and design house and studio. And then I have a day job as well, which is my full-time work. My full-time work is that I work for a bank. I'm actually a program manager, senior program manager, stroke senior product owner for a bank. I've done this for about 16 years. Heavily involved with large national rollouts of projects and programs of work. I've done it for a long time, and do you know what? I enjoy what I do for a living. So yeah, that's variable, but on average, between the 3 roles that I have, I probably work 120 hours a week. I'd say something like that. Okay. Next question. How's the office doggo doing? The office doggo is doing well. She's not here today. Sometimes she's here when I stream, but she's at home with the wife today. So she's doing really well. She was cuddled up to me most of the afternoon whilst I was watching the F1. So yeah, she's doing well. I think she'll be at the workshop a few days this week. So yeah, it's always nice to have her here as well. Okay. I bet you don't even want to. I don't want to think about it. Yeah, if you're talking about the value of stuff, I don't want to think about it. Like there is a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. How's the Nui chair holding up long term? Seat pan not sagging? No sagging, no issues. I'm well within the remits of the weight and kind of like size guidelines and everything else. But I love the chair. I think it's comfortable. It's light. Mesh chairs are better than leather ones because they're less sweaty and better in the summer to breathe and everything else. Yeah, thoroughly enjoy it. Never have any problems with it. Always comfortable. Easy to adjust. Yeah, big fan of the chair. Big fan of it. You need the headrest version though. I would advise definitely getting the headrest version. Mooserides says, why don't we see more Bluetooth customs? So the main reason for it is because if you've got a metal cage of a keyboard case, a metal case made of aluminium or otherwise, then it creates what's known as a Faraday cage. So it's very difficult for the signal, the Bluetooth signal, to get out. Now, the way that the SCOG deals with this, it actually lifts the Bluetooth component up above the plate layer and has it underneath the keycap, so it's not inside the case. But a Faraday cage doesn't have to be fully enclosed. Like, you can make a Faraday cage out of chicken wire and wrap it around. If you make a cube out of chicken wire and go inside it with your mobile phone, you'll lose signal because it's a Faraday cage and the signal can't get in. So it's just worth bearing stuff like that in mind. That's why a lot of old buildings have really poor Wi-Fi or have really poor 4G, depending on what you're using, because they used to use metal in the walls underneath the plaster. So you put like a chicken wire mesh on the walls and you put plaster over the top of it. So lots of old buildings really struggle with it because of that perspective. Okay. And that's why a lot of boards don't have Bluetooth. So you have to have some way of getting the Bluetooth signal out. And Hayos says, have you ever gotten gift keyboards from designers you've worked with on Prototypist? I don't think we've ever had gift keyboards. Like usually, like we've arranged like multiple prototypes, and I might have kept one or whatever. But I've never had a gift one. No, that would be a first if that was to happen. The Bluetooth Techies version 4.2 and is reliable enough for me to do typing tests and gaming. That's good to know. I haven't tried it out yet, so I've prepared my battery for it, but I haven't tried it out as yet. So I may do that towards the end of the stream today if we've got time. I am excited to see how it works on battery. Although the battery isn't charged, so it may not work straight away. We'd have to charge it up for a little bit first, I think. Okay, Pokemon Kid says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 10 bundles, I guess. Tree fitty. Least favorite layout. Least favorite layout. Um, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say full size. I don't like full size keyboards. Luckily, we don't have too many custom full sizes out there. And I'm also not a fan of the really, really tiny little layouts like Pain 27 and stuff. I'm not a fan of those either. But yeah, I'd say a full size. Like everything TKL 1800, I can kind of get behind. Different strokes for different folks and different boards for different reasons, I guess. I like to have a numpad when I'm doing a lot of input Excel work, which happens a lot. But then I prefer a 60% or a 65% for just general typing. And I use a 40% on my iPad when I'm using my iPad on the train. So I think I'd have to say a full size would be the only board I'd never really consider. Yeah. And if I had to pick a smaller size, I'd probably say 75% is my least favorite. But I do have a number of 75% boards. Okay, almost there now. Just one last row to do. Dexy says, do you invest in the stock market? If yes, what's your portfolio? I do, but I would rather not say on public top Clack. It's not something I want to share. I do have a number of stocks and shares out there, but it would be remiss of me to share it on a forum like this, I think. Some of the usual players are in there. Let's put it that way. I'm pretty safe when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't take unnecessary risk as far as I can. And Anaya says I'm not hinting at anything. We wonder. Also, that QMK has issues with the Bluetooth licensing. So Bluetooth's a really interesting one because here, I don't know how it works for the rest of the world, but here in the EU, if you want to use Bluetooth, you have to have set licenses. And that is expensive. It is not cheap, and it becomes a per product thing, and it can be 5,000 to 10,000 euros per product. So it's really, really difficult to always offer a true Bluetooth that's licensed and is fully legitimate and above board. That's probably a little bit easier for companies that are not based in the Western world, but I don't want to comment too much on that. I think it's very difficult to say. Woodchucks don't chuck wood, so 0. But if they did chuck wood, it would be 700 pounds of it. So about 10 bundles. Yeah, about 10 bundles. Muzeroid says, have there been any keyboards that have wireless work from a dongle rather than Bluetooth? By keyboards, I mean customs. I'm not aware of any that do that directly. But I think there's quite a few that can work with dongles. Like you can get a USB micro dongle and plug that in, and then it will just work to a dongle in a PC. I have seen people doing that with just random boards, and it's been working just fine. But it's not something I'd personally want to do, I'm afraid. I just don't trust Bluetooth that much for for certain things. So like when it comes to gaming, Bluetooth isn't something that I would usually trust, unless it's a single player game and it doesn't really matter. Okay, almost there with the soldering now, guys. So if you have got any last questions, ask away and I'll try and answer them. But we're pretty much there now with the soldering. Okay. Yeah, the listings fees are so expensive, man. Like because it's all the testing that you have to pay for. It's all of the development you have to pay for. It's a license per product, not just a license to use it in some circumstances as well. And it has to be. I mean, the controls around it are obscene. The controls around it are obscene. Do people care about wireless? Is this why it isn't more common? You have to remember that a lot of the businesses that make these custom keyboards, so Canon Keys, Novel Keys, Dixie, Upass, My Keyboard, Candy Keys, Switch Keys, you name it. All of these vendors were really quite small. We're not big corporations, so paying for stuff like licensing is difficult. And it's not always affordable. Like we don't sell 1 million of each product that we make, so paying 10,000 euros for a license for one product kind of doesn't make sense a lot of times financially. So that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason, of course, is that Bluetooth is just a pain to work with, from what I understand, on a coding perspective. So yeah, It's difficult. It's not easy. Which 40% do you use with your iPad? It varies. I have multiple ones. Do I have any to hand? Yes. So this is my Equinox. I use this a lot. Like, I use this a hell of a lot with my iPad. Is my Equinox. It's a cute little 40%. It's tiny. It's light. It's aluminium. It's robust. It has everything I need. It has a perfect bottom row. It has a full-size space bar. This little board gets me through a lot of my day. Emails, perfection. So there we go. That's what I use a lot. Okay. I know it's been a while, but I remember you building an Ergo-style board once. Did you end up finding typing on that enjoyable after a while? I don't remember building an... I built a few Ergo boards, but not Ortho. Do you mean the FLX Virgo? Because I use that daily in the workshop. That's plugged up to my Mac that's in the workshop that controls the laser cutter. So I use that one daily. I always forget how small 40s are. Yeah, they're tiny. I can understand everything on that board, but where the backspace is, I'll show you. So, backspace is here. Enter is here. I use a little something called tap dance. That's backspace. And that's enter. There you go. That's the difference. Backspace, enter. So there you go. Okay, soldering done. It's now time to test that this PCB works. So I'm going to get up switch hitter. I'll share it on screen. And then we'll see how it works. Do I need to add this as a source again? I need to add it as a new source. Let me just do that. Window capture, add source, new source, switch, hitter. I have no idea why this has been deleted, but it's not there anymore. And then I will need to change that over to switch hitter. Done. Apologies, guys, for doing this live. I'll just be 1 second. Dib 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 dib. Dib 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 dib. There we go. There we go. We have switch hitter up down in the bottom corner. Let's plug this in and give it a try. I haven't built a Sagittarius as yet, no. We did sell a Sagittarius on my web store, but I haven't actually tried one as yet in real life, in the flesh, as it were. I think it will be the FLX Virgo you're thinking of, yeah. Okay, let's plug this in and give it a try. We have lights, that's good. Let's see if we get... Oh, now we're getting issues with the connection. Let's disconnect this and reconnect it. Okay, let's see what we get. So we're getting nothing here. Slightly worrying. Let's flick it over. Have a look. Is there a button that we can reset it with? There is. Windows does not recognize this device. Okay, that's slightly worrying. I'm just going to check if we've got any bridged connections or anything like that on the board. I'm just going to have a look. Okay, everything's looking good around the MCU. I don't see any switches that are... Okay, I can't see any issues here with the board. Interesting. All the soldering looks pretty neat and tidy and even. Doesn't look to be any issues with that. I wonder if it's the USB port itself. I wonder. It's definitely getting power, but it does not like it. It does not like it, and switch hitter is not detecting any keys, whereas it is detecting that board. The plot thickens, guys. The plot thickens. Yeah, it's really not liking it. Let's try. Try a different USB cable. We can absolutely try a different USB cable. Give me 1 second, guys, to grab another one. Grabbed another 2 just in case. So let's give this one a try first. This was my old faithful back in the day when I used to use these types of boards a lot. USB mini. Okay, plugged in. Let's try it in the keyboard. And this one is now setting up. So could have just been the cable. You might be right, guys. Scuffed builder. 100%, man. 100%. Okay, we should be good to go then. Looks like that cable just didn't want to work. This cable is working. Okay, that it looks like. Okay, escape. Okay, looking good so far. Now, as this board was built previously with ANSI, I'm not expecting all of the ISO keys to work, but they may well do. We may just need to get the clue board configurator out. Oh, okay, everything's working out of the box, yeah. Okay, looking good. Okay, this should be FN. No, is this FN? Okay, so we've got FN. That key there isn't working. Did we solder it? We didn't solder it. Hey. Okay, cool. So let's solder that, and then let's assume that everything's working. So just one more key to solder. How did I miss that? How did I not solder that key? Too much talking and answering questions. That's what I'm going to blame. What's the required temperature when soldering? I usually solder about 320, 330 degrees. Your mileage may vary, but anywhere in that kind of range is usually okay. Okay. I did notice up here that there's just one key that I want to just tweak the soldering on. Just there. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to retest that. I'm going to assume it all works now because it was only that one key that wasn't working. And I think we're good. No wonder he finally sold it. He sold you a lemon. Nah, it's a good board, man. It's a good board. From what I know about putting LEDs on a PCB, hard to believe that those bright LEDs aren't actually 100% brightness each. Yeah, different cable worked. It uses QMK. This is a QMK version. It's a clue board PCB, so it works just fine on QMK. Stream with cables problems 2 in a row. Well, the copper cable that I had at first, I haven't used this cable in probably about 4 years. It's just been sat in a drawer for God knows how long, but it's a beautiful cable. It's all copper. It feels metallic when you touch it. It's absolutely lovely. But yeah, I've not used it in a long time. I just assumed it would work. How did I miss that joint? Yeah, I just missed it. Yeah, 330 or so. Yeah, 320, 330. It depends on the solder you're using. I use 6040 solder made by Kester, so your mileage may vary. Zui says, can we do a J bingo? When we get a bingo, we take a shot. Sounds good. Set up a bingo card, Zui, and we'll run that next week. Okay. Time now, guys, to put the board together and then get some keycaps on there. Let's see what we're working with. I had to put the screws in here earlier on. Okay, so these are Phillips. And we've got short screws for the plate and slightly larger screws, I assume, are for the case. Gonna drop that into position just there. And then, because this is going straight into polycarbonate, we're going to be really gentle with these guys. We're going to screw them until we get some resistance, and then we're going to stop. We're not going to go any further. And we're going to go diametrically opposed to reduce the stress on the polycarbonate. So we're just going to go until we feel resistance, no tighter. It's a keyboard, guys. You don't need to strangle it, remember. There we go. And there's only one more of these boards in existence, so the last thing I want to do is ruin this one. Okay. So if you want to play that game, you need to do the work, man. You need to do the work. Future Crime is here as well. This is the guy who I built this board off. So after seeing it meet up in, I think it was 2017. This is the guy that I bought this board off. This is the guy that sold me this board. This is a board that I've coveted for a long time, as he'll be able to tell you. So I'm super glad to have this now. And thank you very much for the opportunity to buy it. Be well careful. I'm being very careful. The last thing I want to do is thread these screws in and just get them slightly wrong and just ruin the board. So I'm just doing like 1/10 of a turn after they got to tightness, just to make sure that nothing's going to come loose, but I'm not going too far at all. I'm not trying to over tighten these. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on them. There we go. Okay, now it's time to add the bottom case. And again, we're going to do exactly the same this time. We're going to go in just finger tight, just until we feel it grab. We're going to go diametrically opposed across the board, spread out the forces evenly. Okay, almost there now, folks. 2 more screws, and then we can put some keycaps on. You guys can help me choose which keycaps we're going to use today. We've got 2 choices. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk as well, Future Crime. I think I've put about 10 hours into it so far on PS5. Thoroughly enjoying it. Okay, so that looks good. Seems looking good. It's all matching up nice and neatly. Time to do some keycaps. So let me set up the poll. New poll. And you're going to have 2 choices today. Okay, you're going to have a choice of Analog Dreams or Vostok. So I've set that poll going. Guys, you can vote in that as you like now. But the 2 choices are going to be these 2 keycap sets. So you're going to have a choice of the lovely pastel colours of Analog Dreams, or you're going to have the kind of greeny grey colours of J2K Vostok. So those are the 2 choices. You can vote in the poll, and let's see how you guys vote. Analog Dreams is winning at the minute, but there's not a huge margin in it, guys. How's the quality of the new JTK now? It's pretty good. It's not terrible. The legends look okay. Legends look okay. The double shotting process is nice and clean. The triple shot keycaps are just as nice. I think they're okay. They're not amazing quality keycaps, but they're not bad at all. Did I put a capital in analog? I didn't realize I did. Apologies if I did. Analog Dreams is pretty nice keycap set. But you guys have got another minute and a half or so to vote, so please do let me know what you'd like to use. I'm already excited for JTK Grizan. It's a really nice looking set. Like, I've really liked the GMK version for a long time, but the challenge with the GMK version is there is no ISO compatibility at all. So there's no point in me buying it, sadly. Is GMK still the straightest keycap? I don't know what you mean by straightest unless you mean the space bars, but the space bars on JTK are just pretty much straight. They're really flat. They're really nice. GMK spacebars are kind of a little bit off at the minute. Their new packaging doesn't suit keeping spacebars straight quite as well as the old packaging did, is my experience. I've got Analog Dreams on my purple 910. Such a nice set. So I have not Analog Dreams, the other one, GMK Vaporwave on my Jane, and I used to have Laser on my pink 910, but I sold that pink 910 a long time ago, so it's not got Laser on anymore. I don't know where it is actually. I would love to buy that back. So yeah, that's a good choice, Analog Dreams. Okay, guys, you've got about 30 seconds left, maybe less if you guys want to vote. So if you're gonna vote, add a vote. We've got quite a few viewers, but not many people voting. So you've got about 20 seconds left. If that, get your votes in. What's the weight of this bad boy after caps? We'll wait at the end of the stream if you like, dude. We will wait once it's built. Okay, so the winner, as you can see, is Analog Dreams. So we're going to go with GMK Analog Dreams this week. JTK Vostok has lost out 2 weeks on the trot now. Maybe next week will be Vostok's week. So we're going to go with Analog Dreams. We're going to go with the standard configuration. I'm not going to use the Hiragana, and I'm probably not going to use any of the novelties either. Yeah, we'll get this put together now. Okay. I will need to dig out the ISO enter key, which we'll do in just a few seconds. I think we'll try and use the pink ISO enter key when we get to it. Let's try and do mods first. Okay. Don't need F keys. I think there's a stepped caps lock key in this keycap set. I think. Let's find out in a second. Okay. So many keycaps in this set. It's a huge base kit. There we go. Stepped caps is there. D Nesties is here as well. Did you watch the last F1 race? I did indeed, good sir. I spent all afternoon watching that today. Not the most fun of races, I'll have to be honest. It wasn't the best race I've seen this year, at least. But it was okay. It was good. It was nice to see Max Verstappen get a win. Okay. I think we just need tab key, wherever tab is. Come on, where are you? Why can I never find the keys that I need? There's tab. And then let's see if we can find an escape key. There we go. The left shift and the ISO keys will be in one of the other boxes, so we can't put those on just yet. And we might pick from the novelties for the up and down keys, so the page up, page down keys. So let's crack on and get the keys installed now. I think there'll be the UK ISO keys in the other set, so we'll keep those out. Just bring the keys we know we need over here. Okay. Band-aid tabs always. I don't do band-aid on my stabs. No, I don't do band-aids on the stabs at all. So much emotional goodbyes in F1 this year. Lots of shuffling around for next season. Yeah, there's some crazy amounts of shuffling around next year. It's going to be really interesting to see how the grid looks when it lines up next year. I'm really excited to see that. Don't need that key. Okay. Making good progress now. Hopefully it won't take too long to get this all put together, guys. Try and get the number done quickly. Okay. I just don't like the Band-Aid mod. I'm just not a fan of how it feels. It just adds mushiness back into the stabilizers that you take out by clipping them. So it's just not a mod that's for me, I'm afraid, guys. If you enjoy it, though, you enjoy it. You go for it. Okay. Almost there now, guys. Okay, just going to need the ISO kit in a couple of minutes. But I think we've got most of the keys we need to one side now for the rest of the characters. Yeah, okay. Oh, wait. I just realized we've gone and missed a key. Typical. Always easy to do. There we go. Fixed. Okay, then we need the ISO keys here, so we're not going to put those ones in because we'll need specific ISO keys. We do need another modifier for the bottom row, actually. We need a 1.25U mod, which should be an alt. There it is. Okay, everything else we need will be in the ISO kit, so time to put the rest of these away. I haven't band-aided for a while now, but I went out and bought clear band-aids for this LZ when I bought it. This key set is one of my favorites, guys. This key set is so good. I didn't even band-aid when Tehe did. I've not done it for a long time, guys. I think only like the first 3 or 4 boards I built did I put band-aids in. Yeah, clipping removes mushiness on old Cherry and GMK stabilizers, and adding the band-aid mod back in just makes them mushy again, is my view. But your mileage may vary. You might have a different opinion when you try it. There's no right or wrong answers, guys. It's whatever you prefer. That's what this hobby is all about. Okay, let's pick a couple of novelties for the up and down. Let's pick a yellow and a pink one. We're just going to go for R1 keycaps. Why not have a pink save key, because that's quite cute. And let's have a yellow dolphin, because we can. Just because we can. Because there's no reason not to. Okay. Okay, let's get the ISO kit. Let's go for the pink ISO enter because we can, just because it's fun. And then we just need the rest of the ISO kit. I'm pretty sure this has ISO UK. So I'm pretty sure we can fill out this as we need to. That should be the shift key. It is. That's that key there, and we just need the last key for that, and there we go. Okay, folks. So there we go. There you have it, guys. This is a polycarbonate LZST. I believe it's only one of 2 ever produced, with GMK Analog Dreams in UK ISO layout. This looks so good. So good. This key set is just so nice. So there we go. Flip it over, show you guys the weight on the bottom. Someone was asking how the camera is mounted. Well, you can see it's on the ceiling just there. If I bring it over, you can kind of see there's a mount on the ceiling. There you go. Right. I can show you a little bit better. Let's use the face cam, and then you can see the camera is mounted to the ceiling just there. There you go. Okay, let's catch up with chat before we do a bit of a sound test. Vegan Moose Meat says, okay, so I bought a Keychron K6. I don't have the money for a custom keyboard. I would be willing to spend a little to make what I have any better. Any tips? Take it apart, lube the stabilizers, lube the switches, put it back together. Dolphin, yes, the Dolphin is great. Look how cool that is. Look how cool that key is. The flipper symbol. Yeah, I'm not a flipper at all. I never flip stuff. Never flip stuff. Big Milo Drinker says build. There we go. Yeah, so the top-down camera is fixed to the ceiling. There's a pole that's adjustable in height that comes down from the ceiling, and the camera mounts to the side of that pole. So it's dead center above my desk, as you can see. The center of my monitor is here, and then, yeah, it just fits perfectly. The only thing I need to do is tidy up the cables, and they'll be on retraction puts, so I'll just pull the cables out as when I need to plug the camera in. And as of next week, we'll stop using the Brio that we're using now. We'll actually have a secondary DSLR, another Sony Alpha A400, A6400, sorry, which will be slightly off to one side and will capture more of me. So there we go. You just finished the build? Yeah, I just finished the build. Yeah, we need to do a bit of a sound test, which we'll talk about in a minute. Max Feeling says, wow, what a camera. Looks great. Thanks, man. It works really well. There's some more details on my Insta story about how I did it if you guys are interested in seeing that. Okay, caps look nice on that board. Remind me of ice cream for some reason. That's a good thing, yeah. It does remind me of ice cream as well. It's a really nice looking set. Now flip the board for 1 million doll hairs. Sure, if you're going to buy it for 1 million doll hairs, I will sell it to you for that, and $1 million is fine. I'll split that 50-50 with Future Crime. There we go. The ISO layout looks so much nicer than ANSI, but maybe that's because I'm so used to ANSI as an American. Maybe, but the great thing about ISO, even if you use the ANSI side on this bit, if you're a gamer, you want to use ISO because it gives you an extra key in this position. So you have, instead of having a shift key that takes up that whole part there, you have an extra key. It's like cheating for free. Future Crime says fair, I'll take the $500,000. Yeah, so we'll flip it to Zui for £1,000,000. We'll split it 50-50. Future Crime sounds good. Yeah, an extra key and no stabilizer. Better for gamers. It's the gaming cheat of the year. Didn't even realize the tiny left shift. Yeah, this is the ISO way, man. The ISO way. Okay, now we've done that, it's time to do a little bit of a sound test. Now, usual caveat here, guys, I'm not the most neatest of typers. I don't have the best typing technique. I don't care. You guys can think what you like about my typing. Say what you want. It's like water off a duck's back these days. My typing is not standard. It's not correct by any way, shape, or form. But it'll give you a good analog as to how the sound test actually worked for this board. So let's pause the music for a minute. Okay. Music paused. I'm going to take off my headset so I can hear it nice and clearly as well. I'm going to bring the mic down nice and low. And let's have a listen. Let's see how it sounds. Spacebar sounds good. Shift key sounds good. Enter key sounds good. Backspace sounds good. Okay, so I think that sounds pretty good, guys. Let's get the music back on. Let's have some real talk for a second. Okay, music back. So this board sounds a little bit on the muted side, but I think that's the way the switches are lubed. So the switches are lubed only with oils, but I think it sounds pretty good. Like, it sounds really nice. The stabilized keys sound good. The alphas sound good. It's really even. It's really crisp, if a little bit muted. It's a quiet board. I can't take it away from that. But that's the use of the polycarbonate case, which is really thick and chunky. Thick bezels around it everywhere else. It dulls the sound down a little bit. Polycarbonate plate, so it's absorbing a lot of the movement as well. So there's no hard bottom out. It's a soft bottom out. There's a little bit of flex in there as well. I think it sounds really, really good. Really, really good. There's very little spring noise, if any at all. I can't hear any spring noise. It was a sternly worded email. I always pretend that I'm talking to you, Mr. Petrov, when I do my typing tests. So there. World's longest typing test. It was less than a minute. It was less than a minute. So don't worry about that. I think that's really good. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed with this board. I had Zelio Stottles in that board. Is that what you had it in? plug it in for some RGB-ness. Yeah, sure, we can plug it back in. I can imagine with Zeliostals it not being quiet. No, that's an Iron 180. There you go. It's the Founders Edition Iron 180. Let's plug it in and let's see what it looks like with some LUDs and lighting it up. There you go, guys. What do you think to that? Boom. Just the right colors to match the key set. You might guess that I tested this earlier on, guessing that you guys were going to go for this. Dim the lights. Do you guys want to see it in the dark? Okay, we can dim the lights. Give me a second. Boom. There you go. What do you think, guys? This is a really old coiled cable. It's not in my daily repertoire of use anymore, I'm afraid. In fact, let's flick the lights over. Let's just do one. There you go, guys. This is how my desk is usually. In fact, I usually have it set to somewhere around here. This is the kind of ambient light that I tend to work in. So this is how the board will look with its beautiful LED-ness. How about that, guys? So damn good with Analog Dreams. Analog Dreams was a right key set for this. James came right at the money shot. Nice, man. Good to see you, my dude. Sort of adorable, actually. Yeah. Wowzers in my trousers. Future Crime, you can get one for $1 million doll hairs, I've heard. I've heard that's the going rate for these, $1 million doll hairs. So there you go. How about in this kind of ambient light? This is the light that I usually type in. So it's quite dull on this side of the desk, and it's kind of a little bit brighter over this way, so I can see on my keyboard. How does this light set you up, Mr. Petrov? I want to control my lights with my PC too. So I have the. I'll show you on the other side, but I have. If I can show you, I have that light there, which is an Elgato one. I have 2 of those, so I can control them via the PC. Is this a personal board? It is a personal board. I do own this, yes. Moozeride says it looks great. Nicely diffused too. Yeah, the polycarbonate works great. Polycarbonate works great on this board to diffuse it. So more romantic now. I love it. Yeah, a nice bit of ambient lighting. Yeah, 2 Elgato Streamlights LEDs, and then we've got the purple light that just lights up the back wall as well, which is actually on hue, so I can control that from my phone if I want to, and we can make that any color we like. So we can do all sorts with the office light. So we can make it red, yellow, green, blue, white, you name it, guys. We can do it. There you go. How many underglow LEDs on this PCB do I know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. There you go, 14 LEDs. What's my preferred plate material? I personally prefer plastic plates, or non-metal plates, I should say. So I like POM for softer builds. I like carbon fiber for firmer builds. Noxie, oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Ooh, I'm looking cute today. What's the difference between aluminium and brass? Aluminium is a little bit softer, brass is a little bit firmer usually. Brass also has a bit more of a different sound profile. Aluminium can transfer more case ping, I've found, than brass, so it's a little bit less pingy. Linears on carbon fiber, perfect. I agree. I 100% love inks or other switches on carbon fiber plates. That's kind of a favorite of mine. So there you go. But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with this board, guys. Like, this looks so good, so cute. And this is going to make me really, really happy. So, Future Crime, thank you, man, for watching. And thank you for letting me buy this board off of you. Yeah, it's really cool. Dombrose Flowers, you can get CF plates quite often. I'll be running another group buy for them in the new year. So there you go. Neville says, any JO2 updates? As far as I know, the vendors have shipped all the JO2s. I don't have my personal one yet from the vendors that I bought. I've only got my prototype ones, but as soon I'm pretty sure that all the custom ones have shipped. Pretty sure. Is this an original or R2 LZST? Future Crime might have to help me out on this. I believe it's an original R1 LZST, and I think it's only one of 2 polycarbonate ones, but Future Crime will be able to confirm that, I think. Why does that caps look weird? It's a stepped caps lock. There you go. It's a stepped caps lock. It's not a weird key. It's pretty standard key. Pretty standard. Done at the same time as that one. I thought it was. LZ, for those that you don't know, stands for Life Zone. Life Zone keyboards, which have been a bit quiet recently, actually. But it's one of the OG keyboard makers in the hobby. One of 2. Yeah, I thought it was one of 2. I'm sure I remembered you telling me it was one of 2. But I'm not sure who has the other one either. Might be the lighting, but the step looks deeper than usual. I think it's just the fact that we've got light coming from this side, and it's just casting the shadow in that direction. I think that's all it is. If I tilt it that way, it might look less. Love the glowing RGB. Nicely diffused. It looks great, yeah. Yeah, I saw that the phase was coming up, but LZ's been pretty quiet for... I mean, they used to be really prolific. They used to have boards every 3 months, but things have calmed down quite quiet. I've got a physics actually coming in the next couple of weeks as well. I've recently bought, so excited for that one as well. But there we go, guys. That's the build for today. It's coming up on 10:30, so whilst I did want to do the SCOG and the Bluetooth today, I've probably run out of time to do that today, I'm afraid. But I might do a little bit of a mini stream during the week where we can actually take a look at it and do that and get the Bluetooth working in it, because I am keen to try it out. But yeah, LZST is going to go on my desk and be my daily driver for at least the next week. So really happy to be using this board. Guys, if you've got any last questions, now is the time to ask. So please do drop a question in chat if you have one. I'll be back on stream on Friday of next week. We will be doing our standard stream weekly show on a Friday now. Now it does it at 9 p.m. UK time on a Friday, which is 1 p.m. PST Pacific time on a Friday. I think that makes it 4 p.m. Eastern time on a Friday. So there you go. That's going to be the new time slot for Clack for next week. I'll be back next Sunday doing another build. I'm going to try and do a build midweek as well, because I've got a bit of a big queue. So if I can do, I'll do the SCOG midweek and we'll do another build as well. I'm also waiting for a ton of switches to come from Matt, the Pokemon Kid, who's in chat as well. So hopefully they'll be here soon. Future Crime's gone to play Cyberpunk. See you later, man. I'm going to be going home and playing Cyberpunk myself. That's the plan as well for tonight. Final verdict on the SCOG. I love the SCOG. I think it's great. I like it that much that whilst this one was given to me for free and I said I'd give it away to someone in January, which I will do, we'll give it away on this channel, I've bought myself one. I've bought one myself to keep because I really liked it that much. Andy Nugent says, just wanted to thank you again for the help with the Red Sagittarius as well as the IDB O-Ring fiasco from earlier this year. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I remember doing that, yeah. I'm not sure if you remember or pulled it together, both those people for me, but you either go, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I did remember, oh, I knew it was you with the Sagittarius because, like, we talked about it. I do remember sending the IDB 60 O-Rings to you as well, so I'm glad you got those, man. Glad you got them. But cool. Thanks very much, folks. Let's see who we can raid. Is there anyone live streaming right now that we can go and raid? Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look. Who's live right now? Stash is live right now. Let's raid Stash. It's been a while since we've raided Stash, so let me set that up.
Gray Studios, I think.
Okay, guys, I'm going to play the outro. Let's go
Gray
raid
Studios
Stash in a minute.
company.
Tell
They
Stash
make
that he's
some
pretty
pretty
today.
cool
I want to
stuff.
see
They
you
made
all
a
say that
nice
Stash, you
little
look really
artisan
pretty
display
today in his
case.
chat. So let's go and tell him he looks really pretty. But thank you very much, guys. And I'll see you again soon. See ya.
Stash.